Good. Got a watch here I want to get rid of. $1,000. Let's talk some money.
Okay. Pretty sure of yourself.
Absolutely.
Pocket watch hustle that Rick shut down cold. A man strolls into the pawn shop with quiet confidence. There is no hesitation, no small talk, just a claim and a price tag. He wants $1,000 for a pocket watch, which he says is 400 years old. He's grinning, calm, and absolutely sure of what he's holding. That confidence? It's the first red flag, and Rick always keeps an eye out for red flags.
It's about 400 years old.
That is definitely cool. So have you ever taken this apart or anything like that?
I never did because I was afraid I might break some.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
Well, give me a second. I might break it myself.
He says he found the watch at a motel, and after some casual contact with the police, he was basically told to keep it. So he did. Just like that, a supposed centuries-old English timepiece ends up in his pocket by chance. To him, it's a lucky break, but to Rick Harrison, it's the beginning of something fishy.
Found the pocket watch at a motel. I contacted the police department, and the lady said, I guess it belongs to you. Just put it in your pocket. So that's what I did.
The watch looks interesting at first glance. It has that antique charm, tarnished silver, mechanical guts, and a whisper of history. But Rick's no amateur. He zeroes in on the details most people wouldn't notice. There's a lion stamped into the metal. That's the sterling silver mark, 92.5% silver. Then there's the anchor. That symbol points straight to Birmingham, England. And finally, a small letter, a date code. That's the giveaway.
If you look right here, you'll see a lion.
Okay, I see that.
That tells me it's sterling silver, which is 92.5% silver. Right here, you see an anchor.
Uh-huh.
Rick pulls out his tools and starts cross-checking the hallmarks. There is no guesswork, just facts. It doesn't take long to get a match. The letter doesn't say 1600s, it says 1893. It is not even close to 400 years old. The man's mood shifts. That certainty starts to crack. It's not an ancient relic, it's a 130-year-old watch. Still old, yes, but not the treasure he thought it was.
And here we go, right here. 1893.
1893, that's a little
newer.
Yeah, not quite 400 years in it.
Even then, the man holds out hope. Maybe the silver content saves the day. Maybe the age still adds some big value. But Rick's already doing the math. The silver is minimal, probably an ounce at most. And silver? It's going for $22 an ounce. That means the material value is barely anything. As for the age, it's nice but common. These watches aren't rare, they're not flying off the shelves. So Rick makes his offer.
$100.
No.
Yes.
No, there's $100 worth of silver in it.
No, there's probably like $20 worth of silver there. Remember, it's silver, it's not gold. Silver's worth $22 an ounce.
The man doesn't budge, not even close. He pushes for more. He tries everything, but Rick's not having it. He ups it a little as a final offer, more out of courtesy than value. The man says no. Suddenly he's talking about his grandsons, about how the money would have been split between them. Now, it's not about the watch or the deal, it's about pride. And Rick knows that, so he backs off. No pressure, no hard feelings.
$100.
I can't do it for 100. I've got all these grandsons. I figured I could split the money a little better than I could the watch. Yeah.
The man leaves the same way he came in, smiling, but this time there's a little edge of disappointment beneath it. His $1,000 claim? Just another antique with a modest price tag.
I brought a watch in, thought you might want to have a look at, and to my knowledge, it's pretty special.
Arnold & Son. So is this one of those fancy watches that actually longitude?
It is.
The $5,000 watch that left Rick struggling to care. A man walks into the shop carrying a sleek timepiece that looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's an Arnold & Son, a luxury mechanical wristwatch with a bizarre ability to track not just time, but also latitude and longitude. That kind of precision once guided ships across oceans. Now it's sitting in the palm of someone hoping to cash in big.
First, mechanical wristwatches be able to tell you the latitude and longitude of your position. I'd like it about $5,000, but I'd probably take somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000.
The seller claims it was a wedding gift, one with enough brains packed inside it to confuse even the smartest techie. According to him, the manual alone is a headache, loaded with jargon only engineers would appreciate. But he believes the watch is something special, one of the first mechanical pieces capable of helping people navigate without GPS. He throws out a lofty number, $5,000, but he's willing to settle for less, maybe around $3,000.
And you could use this today to navigate with. Do you see that, like those red lines and those blue lines?
Yeah.
The Earth moves at 15 degrees per hour. Based on the position of the sun, you can figure out your longitude. Real simple.
Rick steps in, clearly interested, but not exactly impressed. He's seen countless watches in his time, and no matter how fancy this one looks, he knows the cold truth of what sells and what doesn't. He acknowledges the watch is accurate and impressive. In theory, someone could use it to chart their course across the ocean, using nothing but the sun and this contraption on their wrist. Rick walks through the science, how the Earth spins 15 degrees per hour, how that can be translated into longitude, and how these tools were once vital before satellites made compasses obsolete.
Yes, but at one point in history, a very accurate clock on a ship was extremely important. Before they had an accurate clock, you'd take your boat north or south to the exact latitude you wanted to, and then just go east or west to wherever you were headed.
It's a nerdy thrill for Rick, one of those cool but who's gonna buy it moments. He appreciates the craftsmanship, the engineering, and the history, but passion doesn't equal profit. And this watch doesn't carry the kind of name that moves money. It's not a Rolex, it's not Patek Philippe, it's not Vacheron Constantin, and that's a problem. The seller pushes back. He says forget the names, this one's unique. To him, it's just another beautifully complicated item with no guaranteed resale value.
It's instruments like this that made navigation possible. Nerds like me love this kind of stuff, but there's not a huge market for these, so I'd be taking a lot of risk if I bought it. How much you want for it?
I'd like to get $5 grand.
He throws out his offer. The seller winces. That's a big gap from the $5,000 he was hoping for. He tries to split the difference and shoot higher. Rick counters with a take it or leave it number. No games, no bargaining. It's clear Rick isn't going to budge. After a bit of hesitation, the seller finally agrees.
I'm thinking more like 2,500 bucks.
Could you do 4,200?
I'll tell you what, I'll do 3,100.
All right, you got a deal. Cool.
The deal is made and Rick walks away satisfied enough. The seller, on the other hand, looks relieved. He may not have walked away with $5 grand, but $3,100 isn't bad for something collecting dust in a drawer.
Cool.
Meet you right up front.
Great. I feel pretty good about the deal. I think 3,100 is a fair price. The person who gave me the watch as a gift, I'm definitely going to have to treat them to it.
In the end, it's just a trade where logic, business sense, and experience win out over flashy features and sentimental value.
Apparently it's an old watch.
I hope so.
Where did you get it?
A garage sale.
Really cool watch. Do you mind me asking what you paid for it?
$20.
The $20 garage sale watch that uncovered a Civil War secret. It starts off looking like just another casual appraisal. A woman walks into the shop with an old pocket watch she picked up at a garage sale for 20 bucks. At first glance, it looks like a neat antique. Cool, sure, but nothing earth-shattering. She doesn't care for pocket watches, so she's just hoping to flip it for a few $100s. But the moment Rick looks closer, things take a sharp turn.
Pocket watch. I'd like to sell it because I don't collect pocket watches. If I get 500, if I get 800, I'll be happy. Anything works for me.
Do you know much about it?
He sees something most people would miss. This isn't just some dusty old timepiece, it's a William Ellery, a watch made by an early American company that later became the legendary Waltham Watch Company. He notes that it was the same brand that Abraham Lincoln once carried, but the real gem is on the back. The watch is engraved with the names Earl Butler and Robert M. Scott. Alongside that, a chilling message: one man saving another's life at the Battle of Cross Keys. That's not just Civil War history, that's personal history etched in steel.
Say a little bit about it.
That'd be great.
It's a William Ellery. That's an American watch company that later became Waltham Watch Company. Abe Lincoln actually carried a Waltham.
Wow.
This is absolutely amazing back here.
Rick's gears are already spinning. He checks the build. It's a key wind and key set design, which lines up with watches from the 1870s or 1880s. Everything about it screams the Civil War era. And it works. The mechanism is ticking. The porcelain dial is spotless, which is rare for something this old. Even before calling anyone in, Rick knows he might be looking at a once-in-a-career piece.
Easy to date them. First off, it's a key wind and a key set. By the 1890s, they were almost all going to stem winds. That would make it right around the right time period. It has to be the Civil War. You just increase the cool factor by like 10 times.
To be sure, he brings in a Civil War expert. If this thing's legit, it's not just a timepiece, it's a piece of America's soul. The expert confirms the battle reference checks out. Cross Keys was an early war clash featuring Stonewall Jackson against Union forces nearly twice his size, and the Confederates still won. That much is real. But what about the men? Unfortunately, their names don't ring any historical bells. They're likely ordinary soldiers long lost to time.
The Battle of Cross Keys was an interesting one. This was early on in the Civil War. And this was Stonewall Jackson, one of the best-known generals on the southern side. And Cross Keys was one of the battles with Union forces.
The engraving seems real. The wear, the cut, the tone, It's all consistent with the era. It looks like a heartfelt thank you gift given after the war, not some mass-produced replica or forged nonsense. It's a personal relic, maybe not museum-worthy by name, but emotionally priceless. Rick was visibly moved. He knows collectors would drool over something this authentic.
Time period would be probably the late 1880s, so the name on it and the serial number both fit, that's all good. And if you were going to fake a piece like this, you would pick a battle.
Then comes the negotiation. The woman wants more than triple her initial price. Rick counters hard. Without the engraving, it can't fetch that price. He offers a fair amount. She holds her ground. The back and forth is tense. Each side knows the other has something to lose. She pushes once more. He fires back. She pleads. He grits his teeth. Eventually, they meet in the middle.
I mean, the two people on there are really not known, so $700.
But the battle's known. 1800.
If it didn't have that engraving on it, is literally worth $400 or $500.
She walks out beaming, from $20 to $1,300 in one afternoon. But Rick walks away with more than just an old watch. He's got a story now, a real emotional, bloody Civil War story, etched in steel and ticking with history.
We have here.
This is something I found in my dad's underwear drawer.
All right, do I want to see it?
Yes, you do. This is a pocket watch.
Okay.
And it has
The gold watch that made Rick roll his eyes. A woman strolls into the shop holding a small item she claims to have found, tucked away in her father's underwear drawer. It's a pocket watch, 10-karat gold, 21 jewels, and supposedly engraved with the signature of Henry Ford II. From the moment she takes it out, you can feel the admiration. Rick perks up. A Ford family relic? That's not something you see every day. The piece looks classy, no doubt. Vintage, solid. There's history written all over it, or so it seems.
It's 10-karat gold. And it is signed by Henry Ford II. The watch really has no sentimental value, and I would really like the cash.
She explains it has no sentimental value. She wants the money fast. Rick gives it a once-over and spots the engraving. That's where things start to change. The name doesn't match hers. She admits she doesn't know who F. Weber is. That alone sends Rick into detective mode. He explains that big companies like Ford rewarded long-term employees with gold watches back in the day. It was tradition, a classy gesture for decades of loyalty.
Presented by Ford Motor Company to F. Weber on the 35th anniversary. So was your dad F. Weber?
No,
Okay. Who was F. Weber?
I have no idea.
But here's the thing. This watch isn't signed by Henry Ford himself. It's engraved, sure, but not in any personal way. It's a mass-produced gift, not a priceless heirloom. Rick doubts Henry Ford II was crouched over a bench somewhere, personally engraving watches. The magic behind the piece starts to fade fast. To collectors, authenticity is everything, and this one doesn't scream rare.
I'd like 1,200.
Not going to happen. It doesn't have Henry Ford's signature on it. Henry Ford's signature is engraved on it. And I doubt if CEO of Ford was going around engraving watches.
She wants $1,200. That's when Rick cuts to the chase. There's no real collector value here. This isn't the kind of piece anyone's going to fight over. It's not old enough, not rare enough, and not personal enough. The truth? If he buys it, he won't be showcasing it in the shop. He'll melt it down and scrap it. Brutal, but honest.
Put it in my showcase.
Okay.
I'm going to rip the gold out of it and sell it for scrap.
Really?
People who collect pocket watches want the older ones.
Okay.
This is way...
The woman looks stunned, maybe even a little insulted. But Rick isn't sugarcoating it. The only value in that watch is the gold, and even that isn't much. About $230 worth, to be exact. If he buys it, he's making 30 bucks. 30. That's barely worth the paperwork. She tries to push for more, but it's a non-starter. Rick isn't here to play games. Eventually, he offers $200 flat. She sighs, defeated. She knows he's right.
Right around $230 worth of gold. I'm going to make a whopping $30 off you. It is what it is. 200 bucks, that's what I can do.
Well, I guess you're gonna make 30 bucks off me then.
Okay, all right, 200 bucks.
No fairy tale ending, no rare treasure. Just a small gold watch with a big name that doesn't live up to the hype. Rick takes the deal, already planning to send it straight to the scrap dealer.
I have an 1890s Tiffany pocket watch
Okay.
in 18-karat gold.
Where did you get that's heavy.
The Tiffany watch that made Rick bite hard. A man walks into the shop holding something rare, heavy, and glowing with the kind of old-world charm that could make any collector's heart skip. It's an 1890s Tiffany pocket watch, and not just any watch. It's cased entirely in 18-karat gold. The weight alone sets it apart. This isn't one of those hollow, delicate antiques that feel like they'll dent if you breathe on them wrong. No, this thing is a brick of elegance, a gleaming chunk of history with serious weight in both gold and brand.
The least I'd like to take is about $6,000.
The great thing is it's Tiffany. I mean, it's as far as like jewelry in the United States, it's probably the most iconic brand.
The seller wants to let it go, says he's eyeing something more modern, something flashier, something he can wear every day, like a Rolex. And for the right price, he's ready to part ways with this piece of luxury. He opens with a bold ask, $10,000 to $12,000. Even his floor, $6,000, is steep, but in his mind, it's worth it. After all, it's Tiffany.
Inside of here is the actual movement.
Probably a 17 jewel movement. What the jewels do is the staff or the gears.
Rick takes one look and is instantly hooked. The name alone means quality. Tiffany has ruled American luxury for over a century, and this isn't just some generic old watch. It's likely powered by a Swiss movement from Patek Philippe, the legendary watchmaker who once revolutionized the industry. It's clean, no dents, no scratches. The kind of antique that usually doesn't stay on the shelves for long.
Patek Philippe was founded in Switzerland back in the mid-1800s by a Polish guy named Patek and a Frenchman named Philippe. They were like the dynamic duo of watchmaking.
But Rick's not one to let brand names cloud his judgment. He peels back the beauty, pokes through the hype, and sees the truth beneath the gold. The movement, while nice, is basic. No bells, no whistles, no stopwatch, no moon phase, no repeater, nothing flashy or rare about the mechanism. It's a factory-made piece from an assembly line, not one of the coveted handmade masterpieces collectors fight over. Still, the weight of that gold can't be ignored. Rick does the math. The gold alone gives it some serious floor value.
For 10 to 12,000?
That's not going to happen. Normally, pocket watches go like this for like $2,500. But you have this massively heavy case, so I mean, you have all that intrinsic value of all the gold.
He throws out an offer. The seller isn't having it. He pushes back hard, insisting on the craftsmanship, the prestige, the timeless beauty. He tries to meet in the middle, 7.5, then 5. But Rick doesn't flinch. No tricks, no soft spots. He holds firm. Back and forth they go, the tension thickening.
Bring up some good arguments, but I still think it's a gorgeous watch. I'd be willing to come down to $7,500.
$4,000 is my top dollar.
The seller, frustrated, keeps clawing for more. Rick keeps cutting him off. It's clear he wants the piece, but only on his terms. After one final breath and a heavy sigh, Rick tosses out a small bump. Take it or leave it, and the seller caves.
$2,000, that's it.
All right, I can do that.
All right, $4,200.
Thank you.
Rick knows exactly what he just pulled off. And for just over $4,000, he's bagged a piece that'll sell fast or melt down for even more. Either way, it's a steal. It's not every day someone walks in with a gold brick disguised as a pocket watch. And it's not every day Rick gets to walk away knowing he just flipped luxury for a bargain.
Here, Octavia, and it's a Joe Sifford edition.
Sifford, yeah.
Formula One
yeah, he was
race car.
Yeah, this is cool. He's still listed as like one of the greatest race car drivers of all time.
Oh, yeah.
The vintage watch that nearly broke the deal. A man walks into the shop holding something he claims could fund his next adventure, a sleek vintage Hoyer watch from 1970. It's not just any model. This one's tied to Joe Sifford, one of the most legendary race car drivers of all time. The guy says the watch belonged to his dad and has been tucked away for decades, only worn occasionally. On the outside, it looks like a collector's dream. It has a clean face and is in good condition, and it's still ticking perfectly. But it's not the appearance that gives it weight, it's the story.
Watch is in real good condition. It's mostly been sitting in a box. I wear it every now and then. You know, I'd like to maybe get a new dirt bike, and don't tell anybody that, but
This is a pretty amazing, cool watch. It's pretty rare.
Joe Sifford didn't just race cars, he changed the way fans saw motorsports. His name alone adds fuel to the fire of collector frenzy. The same model of watch he wore was famously seen on Steve McQueen's wrist in the cult racing film Le Mans. That one ended up going for over $800,000. So naturally, this piece has gravity. But the devil's always in the details.
That's what gives it 80% of its value. There's something really cool about Heuer watches from the 60s and the 70s. Everybody loves them. Steve McQueen wore one in the movie Le Mans.
One glaring issue jumps out immediately. The watch band isn't original. It's a replacement, and that's a blow. In the world of vintage watches, authenticity is everything. The original band would have added serious value. Still, the seller has something going for him. The original paperwork with matching serial numbers. That makes it a rare find, even if it's not entirely untouched.
Band? Or did he get it this way?
I think he must have replaced it. And I know, he had all kinds of different bands. And
The original band on this is very distinct. It really hurts the fact that you don't have the original band.
That price tag stuns the room a little and negotiations begin. It's a delicate back and forth, a dance between optimism and realism. The missing band knocks the value down. After some firm haggling, they agree, but the deal isn't sealed just yet. One final hurdle remains: the movement inside the watch. It has to be original. That means cracking open the case to check the guts of the machine.
I'll see if I can make a deal with you, okay? And if we can make a deal, I will go to the back and make sure everything's correct. I just want to make sure it's the original movement from that time period.
All right.
Here's where things take a turn. Back in the evaluation room, the watch refuses to budge. The case back is sealed tight, so tight it's almost like it's welded shut. It hasn't been opened in decades, maybe 25 years or more. That's a red flag and a risk. If the movement's not original, or if something's wrong inside, the buyer's out a pile of money. And because the case won't open, there's no way to be 100% sure. Despite the uncertainty, the decision is made. The deal goes through anyway.
We have a problem.
Oh.
But apparently it's going to be my problem, not yours. I'll take the risk. Obviously, he never had it serviced because the back will not come off.
Oh, no.
This thing is stuck on there.
The man walks out with cash in hand, visibly relieved. The price he got was probably the lowest he would have accepted, but it still feels like a win. As for the watch, it now carries a layer of mystery that only time or a proper servicing will reveal.